everyone. Welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we're making marshmallows. I have always wanted to do my own marshmallows, so today I thought I would try out this adventure. Now, I have a friend who makes marshmallows all of the time, and she has shared with me her recipe, so this is that recipe, and if you want to follow along, here's what you're gonna need. You're gonna need 2 cups plus 1 tablespoon of white sugar, 1/4 of a cup of corn syrup, 1/2 of a cup of water. You're also going to need another 1/2 of a cup of water, 7 teaspoons of gelatin, which is about 3 packets of Knox unflavored gelatin, a pinch of salt, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. For the end, you're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1/2 of a cup of cornstarch, and some sprinkles. All right, so just recently I saw my friend's daughter doing this recipe, and I thought marshmallows were way harder than they are, and they really are not. So I hope that encourages you. You should try your own marshmallows. This is an amazing recipe. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take 1/2 of a cup of that water. So we have a full cup of water, but they're in 2 1/2-cup portions. So put the first 1/2 cup in your stand mixer fixed with your whisk attachment. So put that in there first, and then we're gonna put all of our gelatin in there. And this is the process that we're gonna call blooming our gelatin. So now we're gonna just pour it in the bottom here and make sure it all gets into the water and it's not up on the sides of your mixer bowl. And that looks good. So now that's just gonna sit there for like 10 minutes while we do this over here. So in your pot, you're gonna put the other 1/2 of a cup of water, and you're gonna put all of your sugar. That's a lot of sugar. Marshmallows are just basically sugar though. And you can see inside this pot, it's already starting to come together like moisten. So we're just gonna give it a little bit of a push around before we turn on the heat. Once you see it all kind of, wet, we're gonna add our corn syrup. Now you can use agave and you can also use honey. I've had the honey ones. The honey ones are fantastic. But today we're just gonna use light corn syrup for these guys. And we're gonna give this a little bit of a stir. Let's go ahead and get this on medium. Okay, and we want this to start to boil. And the moment it starts to boil, we're gonna cover it and set a timer for 2 minutes. But don't stir it again. We'll just leave it just like it is. And I have my candy thermometer nearby because we'll need to bring it to a certain stage. I think it's the softball stage. All right, and as you see it start to boil, we are just going to kind of swirl it around a little bit, wait for it to start to boil again, and then I'm gonna cover it for 2 minutes. All right, here we go. I'll call that a boil. And now we wait. Let's check on our gelatin over here. Looks like everything is nice and bloomed, so we should be able to immediately, as soon as this hits 242, we'll be able to immediately mix this all together. In the meantime, let's prepare our pan. So I have covered a 8x8 square with press and seal so that it's sealed all completely, and I'm gonna cover it in a little oil. So I just have my pastry brush and a little oil, and we're just gonna oil it. This will just help it come out of the pan later. All right, here we go. Now, look at the difference in the liquid in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our candy thermometer in, and we're about 200 right now. We're not gonna stir it though. We're just gonna leave it just like that. We're not even gonna stir this ever again before it gets into the mixer. I'm gonna keep that brush and oil for a little bit though, because we're gonna oil the top of it before we put another piece of parchment or plastic wrap over the top. Okay, we have reached temperature. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna move this right over here just for a moment while I switch out. So what we're gonna do here is our bloomed gelatin is in the bottom. We're gonna bring it upward, and we are gonna drizzle this down the side of the mixer as it's going on like lowish. Okay, ready? Here we go, drizzle, drizzle down the side, slowly. All right, and once you've got it all in there, we are gonna sprinkle in our salt, and then we're gonna turn it up to medium and let it go for about 5 minutes. All right, now that it kind of looks like marshmallow fluff, we're gonna go ahead and turn it on high and let it whip until it's at least doubled in volume. And sometimes it'll get even bigger, but it's gonna get glossy and look gorgeous. So 3 to 5 more minutes on high. All right, now it's time for us to get in our vanilla. So go ahead and pour in your vanilla, and then you're gonna give it a mix for at least another minute. All right, we're done. Time to get our mixture out of here. Now you're gonna wanna work kind of quickly because it is very sticky. But what we're going to do here is, look at that. Look at that, beautiful. Look at that, it's yummy. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to oil my spatula just a little bit, but I'm gonna pour all of my marshmallows into this 9x9 pan. Now, you could do marshmallows, you could use a larger pan, but I want these to be thick and hearty marshmallows, not the little bitty ones. So I'm using a smaller 8-inch pan, but these are gonna need about 6 hours to harden up and firm. Make sure you get all of that out. Yes, it's a little bit messy. Anything you don't get out of the pan, you can just scrape off and eat now because they're delicious. All right, and then once you have all of your mixture into your pan here, we're gonna flatten it out. Now, flattening it out is harder than you think. Hold on, let me taste it. Oh my, oh, that's so good. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna work quickly, remember. We're gonna take a piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap. We are going to oil the top, and we're gonna oil it really well. Then we're gonna grab this, and we are going to press this over the top. And then we're gonna push this into all of the corners. Just work fast, because it's a candy. Marshmallows are basically, softball candy. If you don't flatten out your saran wrap, you will get wrinkles in your marshmallows, which is fine. There we go. Okay, our marshmallows are almost done. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cover this with my handy dandy cover, and we're gonna leave this to cool for 6 hours. Okay, it has been well over 6 hours, and it is time to cut our marshmallows. And if you're going to dip your marshmallows or roll them in sprinkles, now is that time as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a hold of all of the plastic, and we're going to lift it out of the pan, because I do not want to cut in this pan. And they should lift out pretty easily. Ta-da! All right, so let's take a look at our marshmallows. It should peel away very easily because we used that oil. And if anything sticks, just push it with your hand. It should come away. Looks like I didn't get the oil quite high enough on this side. That's fine. That happens. There we go. And voila. Okay. Check it out. Look at this. I'm gonna run my hand right under the bottom of this to just remove it. Maybe I'll just leave it. No, I don't want to leave it on the paper. I don't want to leave it on the plastic, because I definitely don't want plastic in my marshmallow. You know what I'm saying? There we go. All right, and resist all temptation to wash your hands. We actually want our hands to be well oiled as we do all the rest of the steps. So here are our beautiful marshmallows. And now we're gonna take our knife and some extra oil, and we are going to oil up our knife because we're gonna want to cut these. Now, there is no right answer to how big your marshmallows should be. So you do you, but these are for dessert later this week, so I definitely want them to be big. So I'm gonna just cut right down the middle with a very sharp knife, and I'm gonna pull one side towards me so that after I cut, I can kind of peel them away. There we go. So I have 2 chunks of marshmallow. Look at that. Okay, and if I feel like it's sticking, get a little bit more oil. This part is definitely the oiliest bit. Right down the center and move it. And then I'm gonna do center, center as well. So these are gonna be nice and big. And do you notice that I'm not sawing? I'm pushing. Push hard and done. Just commit and go for it. So here we go again. Commit and go for it. That's perfect. Make sure they're not touching their neighbor. Now it's important to note that these are very sticky. The reason they're not sticking to anything right now is because I am all oiled up, but they are very sticky. All right, now that everything's cut, let me go ahead and wash my hands and get rid of the knife and all of the oil. Okay, now let's go ahead and deal with our powdered sugar and our cornstarch. So I have it in my little box here. If you don't have a box, you can just mix it in a bowl. But I found this to be very beneficial to my life because I'm gonna store it in this container anyway, in that powdered sugar and cornstarch. And now it's gonna all be mixed together. We're gonna wanna roll these in powdered sugar and cornstarch so they don't stick together. All right, so if we're gonna dip it in some sprinkles, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pour my sprinkles on this plate and I'm going to dip it, push down in my sprinkles. Dip it, push down. Make sure you get it all the places. And there's the bottom. Check out that cute marshmallow. Isn't that adorable? All right, so let's leave that one off to the side for the moment. I'm gonna do probably 4 or 5 of those ones and the rest of them I'm just gonna do in this, I think. I may do some sprinkles. I got some other sprinkles. These ones are sequins and these ones are non-perils. I'm not exactly sure the difference. And we're having some friends over for dinner in a couple days and they have a couple kids who will totally think this is amazing. All right, so 5 sprinkly marshmallows. And I'll move those ones off to the side. And then we will bring the other sprinkles on here. These ones aren't as exciting as those ones. All right, so if you were not going to dip them in sprinkles, this is what you're gonna need to do. Go ahead and take your marshmallows. Maybe I will make these a little smaller, only because those ones there will be the ones I give for dessert and these ones will be for snacking later, so we don't need as big. And then we will just drop them right in our cornstarch mixture. And make sure when you drop them into the cornstarch mixture, they aren't touching any of their brothers or sisters. Otherwise, they will stick forever and they'll just be one big blob. The cornstarch and powdered sugar helps them not to stick to each other. All right, and once your box starts to get a little full, let's go ahead and toss them around because we definitely don't want them to stick to each other. And there we have it. They are all ready to be bagged up and be eaten. They can be eaten without the cornstarch, but why would you want to? Okay, I'll cut 2 more of these and then I will break one open for you to see. The reason I wanted to do this adventure is because for years, a friend of mine, Nicole, has been making her own marshmallows. Years and years and years. And I've never really watched her make them before. And when I was in Colorado a couple weeks ago, her daughter said, "Oh, I need to make some marshmallows for my friend." And I was like, "Oh, really? Let me just watch you." And she made them. And I was like, why was I so scared of marshmallows? Is it because you have to use a thermometer? Maybe. But I felt pretty silly after watching the 17-year-old do it. And I was like, I'm coming home and I am doing this. So that's why I decided to do this adventure with you. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and dredge this large one in some powdered sugar just so that it doesn't stick to everything when I'm sharing with you. All right, here we go. So here is our beautiful marshmallow. If you would have told me, I don't know, 6 months ago that I would be making marshmallows, I would have said, no, they're too difficult. But yet, here we are. They're really not as difficult as one would think, and they're pretty fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna bust one open now so you can see. Oh, look at how squishy. Oh yeah, look at that. perfect marshmallowy texture. And, little pillows of heaven. Homemade marshmallows, they are so good. Oh my gosh. They're so fluffy. The texture is like nothing that you will ever taste. Marshmallow, I'm playing Chubby Bunny with you. Invest yourself in a good candy thermometer and give these a go, because that was easy, right? And can you imagine s'mores with a fresh marshmallow? I wish I had a fire going right now. That was a big marshmallow. It's so good though, that I don't even care that it's that much sugar. These guys, oh man, they're so cute. I won't tear into these guys because I really want my guests to see them. But look at how dang cute they are. Now you're gonna wanna store these in an airtight container and eat them at your leisure. If you are a peep lover and you like to dry your marshmallows out, you can leave them at room temperature, but they will get a little bit hard and crunchy, but they are still, they would still be really, really good. But airtight container is where you can store them. So what I will do for these, I'm going to push all of my marshmallows off to the side, and I'm gonna set these down right inside my container. That way, when I'm ready to serve them in just a couple days, they'll be airtight and all ready to go. And all of these can just be eaten by everybody else all week this week. And that's it. Look at that. Awesome, right? All right, you guys, have you ever made marshmallows before? If you have you ever dipped them in anything before? I thought about doing chocolate, but I didn't think that I wanted to commit to doing chocolate-covered marshmallows the first time I did marshmallows. So instead, Sprinkles got it, and I'm glad that it was a fantastic adventure and that I got the nerve to do it, because I really had been scared to do this. So if a 17-year-old can do it, I can do it, and you can do it. So let's do it. All right, you guys, well, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure. Sometimes it comes to me in the form of a 17-year-old who's like, are you kidding? Oh, why are you afraid of this? It's so easy. Watch this. And then I do it. Other times you comment and say, hey, have you ever tried this before? I want to know how this works, or how it tastes, or how to do this. And I'm like, I'm on it. Like white on rice. I am on it. So if you have any ideas for me, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you on the next adventure. Bye.